Welcome to lesson 6.80, using a constant factor to solve ratio problems. Our objective is I can find the constant factor when the ratio in one actual count is known. So let's try one together. To make green paint, the ratio of blue paint to yellow paint is 3 to 2. For 6 ounces of yellow paint, how much blue paint is needed? To do these ratio ones, I find them a lot easier if I use a table. My table looks like this. In our table, we're going to have one row. Each row is going to represent one thing. So I've given them labels. We won't necessarily do that in the future, but we'll just make sure we know what each row is going to be. So for instance, for this example, blue paint is one row, yellow paint is the other row. We're going to always have 2 rows in our table. Let's look at what the columns look like. In my first column, I'm going to put the ratio of whatever blue paint to yellow paint is. And in the right, I'm going to put in the actual number. You'll see the wonder in a second of the reason why we do this, but the ratio of blue paint to yellow paint is for every 3 things of blue paint, I need 2 things of yellow paint to make green paint. To make 6 ounces of yellow paint, so my actual count, I'm going to put 6 in the yellow paint row. So now I've set up my table. This will let me find out the blue paint that I actually want. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply diagonally. I'm always going to multiply diagonally. 3 times 6 is 18. Then I'm going to divide across. I'm going to divide across. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Which means that, notice here, I'm going to put 9. So the answer, I'm looking for 9 ounces of blue paint. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Now that you've tried this one on your own, let's do it together. I'm going to look at the ratios of flowers to weeds as 2 to 5. So for every 2 flowers, there are 5 weeds. There are 30 flowers. So now I need to multiply diagonally. 30 times 5 is 150. And then I want to divide across. So 150 divided by 2 is 75. So this lets me know that there are 75 weeds in my garden. Let's do another one together. The ratio of boys to girls in the freshman class at the academy was 6 to 5. If there are 60 girls, how many boys were there? So I want to make a table. And I'm going to have a boy row and a girl row. So my ratio is 6 boys for every 5 girls. If there are 60 girls, I want to find the number of boys, so I'm going to multiply across starting next to the empty space. 6 times 60 is 360. Then I want to divide across. 60 divided by 5. Let's see here. 60 divided by 5. Well, let's pull out our long division here. 5 goes into 36. 7 times 5 is 35. And I have 1 left over. Drop the 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. And with no remainder. So 72. So there were 72 boys. 72 boys. Go ahead and try this last one on your own, and then we'll do it together. Okay, now that you've tried it on your own, let's do this last one together. The ratio of ants to flies at a picnic was 8 to 3. So I want to set up my table. I'm going to have an ants row, and I'm going to have a flies row. The ratio of ants to flies was 8 to 3. If there were 24 flies, how many ants were there? So there were 24 flies. So I want to start next to the empty space, and I'm going to go 8 times 24. 8 times 24, it's going to be a pretty big number. I'm going to stack them this way. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So I'm going to have 192. And now I need to divide across. So 192 divided by 3. 3 goes into 19. 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Drop the 2. 4 times 3 is 12. So 64. So there were 64 ants. 64 ants. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.